Hi everyone, this week's assignment is based in the ideas of figure collage and working in a series. It will make up classworks 18 and 19. So the general idea for this week's assignment is thinking about how you can suggest the presence of a figure in a space using collage. You should have already looked at the PowerPoint, in which I gave a ton of different examples of artists' works, artists who worked with collage and the figure. And from that, you should see that there are varying degrees in which you can literally have the figure present in a drawing or a collage to get the idea across that there is a figure, right? So you can have snippets of people's eyes or arms. The single presence of one body part can suggest the larger presence of a figure in a space, which is a pretty interesting idea. And I think that we're now at the point at the end of the semester that you should have a pretty good idea for how the human body is formed and conjoined. And so this is a fun point where we can sort of split off from that and use the groundwork knowledge that we have about the body to work a little bit more abstractly and to just pull from individual body parts. So there's a lot more freedom in this project as we're working with collage. So you should also have a pretty decent idea now of the fact that collage is super plural. It's not just clippings taken from magazines or newspapers. It's things, or as I referred to in the PowerPoint, source material that you can find all around you. I have a stockpile of collage materials that I keep on hand. So just to give you some different examples, I listed some in the PowerPoint, but you know, like little tabs from old cardboard boxes, ribbon, sticks, plastic I found on the road, broken chip clip, more stuff I found on the road, bits of fabric can work great for collage, old wood scraps, strings, plastic. What else do I have? This is old. This is what you put underneath carpeting to give it cushion. I liked the pattern, so I saved it. Scouring pads. Interesting texture. So the stuff that you work with to make collage, it's all around you. You should be able to find something in the spaces that you're occupying. It could be old homeworks, it could be granola bar wrappers, it could be dust from underneath your couch. Really have fun with this and explore different materials that seem compelling to you and that you think could be good working variables for trying to make a figure. All right, so now that I've addressed those sorts of major parts of this assignment, I'm going to start talking about how to approach doing it. So to simplify this idea of a series, I want you to start by establishing a theme for yourself for this two-part drawing, right? For these two drawings. So theme is pretty broad. It could be anything, like just something to get you started thinking about it. So themes could be colors, it could be a mood, it could be a place, right? So you could say, I'm going to make the theme of these drawings orange. It could be that broad, or it could be very specific, and maybe your theme is happiness on my birthday. As a thought off the top of my head. So your theme can be pretty broad or specific, but generally it's something to focus you on how to think about ways to make your drawing collage. So once you have that theme, think about how it's going to carry across between your two collages. So your theme could be, you know, like maybe your theme is happiness and sadness, so it's opposites, and that's a guiding kind of theme that can work. Or maybe it's the same idea reiterated in a different way, and the reason you have a series is just to really get that point across of that one theme or idea that's governing your work. So establish what's going to guide you working in this series, knowing that you're going to be working to incorporate parts of the figure. So the goal of this is to suggest the presence of a figure in space. All right, so I know that's a lot, but you're totally capable of this. Please just email me if you have questions. But remember, you're just suggesting a figure in space. You don't need to work from a reference for this. If it helps you and you want to, you can work from either yourself or work from someone else, or a photograph if you want sort of a reference for a body to kind of work to fill in, but you don't need to include an entire body. Remember, it's just parts of something that can reference a figure, sort of as has been pointed to in the collages that I showed in this week's PowerPoint. Specifically, look at Hannah Hawk's collages, which are the first ones that I included in the PowerPoint. She works mainly with tons of little bits of body parts and fragments that she found, body bits and fragments that she found in magazines and collected. So you don't have to actually find body parts, right? So remember Kara Walker's collages, oftentimes she draws and cuts out silhouettes of bodies or body parts to include in her collages. So there are different ways to think about how body parts can be found and constructed to include in these collages. You can include elements of drawing and painting, as other artists did and do in collage. And I want you to be conscious of that and think about all of the strategies and techniques that we've used with drawing. They can also be applied in paint and colored pencil. Value and mark making are super important. So they can be ways to sort of form and solidify the space around the figures that you're working with. The size of the paper, I want it to at least be half of an 11 by 13 sheet, although you can work bigger if you want. That part's up to you. As I talked about, though, be conscious of how you're using color, as we really haven't used color in class to this point. Again, this is an opportunity to experiment and think about different ways to work through that. Forgot to show you some of the examples I worked on to show you. So, I have a couple collages that I started that involved the figure. And this idea of sort of what is necessary to show of the figure in a space to say, hey, there's a figure present. So this is just one collage that I started where I worked with images of people that I found in magazines and sort of fragmented those body parts and started to redraw them. I also started thinking about the space in the collage with this sort of mountainous suggestion of a line. This isn't finished. It would need to be pushed a little bit further. There's still a lot of space, I think, that needs to be dealt with in this drawing, and the hand could be pushed to be drawn a little bit more. But here's one example. Let's see. Here's another collage that I worked on where I use sort of like bits of denim and leather straps that I found, tape, colored pencil, but I was thinking about little bits of figures and how I could draw in the rest of them in this space. And one more. So finding this image of figures and then flipping the corner, but also thinking about how it's kind of fun and there's this partyish dynamic to it. Again, this isn't finished, but just different ways that you can work with a figure. You also don't have to find actual pictures of people. You can draw in parts of people or, again, cut out shapes that suggest them. There's lots of different options for how to approach this. Now, in terms of adhering objects to the surface, obviously you can use glue or tape. You can also get sort of creative with how you think about adhering. You can stitch objects to the surface using thread and needle. You could use bubble gum. You can use paint to stick images to a surface. If you really can't figure out anything to stick the objects to the surface, you can also just arrange the objects or the source material on the page and then take a picture to submit it, because these don't need to be moved. That's kind of one of the perks of having this digital format. Right. That's it for this week's assignment. Remember, it's a two-part series, Classworks 18 and 19, which both need to be submitted by Thursday. Remember to comment. Those are counting towards homework points, and they're really going to help your grades if you're just doing them. They're simple. Some people have had issues with comments they post not going up. You need to contact me if this is happening to you. Otherwise, I can't give you points for the comments I don't see. There are some workarounds we can do to try to make it work. People have found success in opening the web browser on their phone and posting comments there. It's a weird glitch. I did research about it. It's honestly just a glitch in the system, unfortunately. So try doing that. If not, you can always email me the comments and I'll send them off to other students. But again, you need to be proactive about checking to see if your comments are showing up after you post them. And if not, be in touch with me. All right. Also, proposals are due this week. Proposals for your final project. It's pretty essential. It is essential. You're getting graded on this, that you turn them in, that you submit them to me, because this will be your plan working next week and a little bit beyond that. So I want to be on sort of the same page with you, know what you're thinking for this before you attack the project. So please, you have to get those into me this week. Again, email me if you have any questions or concerns. If you would like to have a Zoom conference, I'm only going to do those if you request them individually, since there wasn't a large turnout for the last batch. I'm open to them, but just again, send me an email if that's something you want to do. All right, hope you're all doing well. I look forward to seeing what you work on. Remember, just push yourself, try something new. Look at this as an investigation in materials and have fun with it. I know it's probably new to some of you, but just as long as you try, I'm just grading based on effort. So, all right, bye.